Well, while Hugh's just rolling a cigarette, this seems like a good time to give a content warning for this particular project. There may be some effing and jeffing, some coarse language that the young ones might not want to hear.
I think it's time for you to start to seriously consider salads.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? I mean, get off my car before you flip it over, you fat fuck.
I don't like food. I love it. Keep feeding you. Lunches, time to eat. Yo, I know the perfect meal for you.
Come down to eat.
Jesus Christ, is that all you people do? The lunch we had with Jim and wood chip.
I've lost count. What are we on?
Episode 5.
Episode 5.
The Daily Dines.
Holy shit. And what a fucking dined it was. My goodness gracious me.
Sweet Jesus.
So Theo, where do we go today?
Why don't you tell them? I feel like I'm always telling them.
Formula Man. So we went to, it's a curry house. Although curry house sounds a bit disrespectful, to be
Not
honest.
showing it proper reverence.
Yeah, exactly. So it's an Indian restaurant. It's been on my radar for a while now, but it's just always been that little bit far to sort of go for a curry. And this sounds weird, but I think today has shown me it's not that little bit far to go for a curry at all.
You're teasing them, man. What's it called?
So it's called Dastaan's.
Mm.
And if you look at it on Google, it says it's in Epsom. It's not. In the Michelin guide, it says it's in Yule. Yeah, I don't know. So you're looking at sort of Chesington, Worcester Park area. It's
basically bloody Piccadilly Circus.
yeah. So it's up that way. Let's call it Yule for the sake of argument. A curry house in Yule, about half an hour drive from us. A little bit longer.
About half an hour.
Half an hour drive.
That was a bit less than the way back. 'Cause less traffic.
Yeah. So about a touch over half an hour. And wow, what
a meal.
I've got nothing but good things to say, really.
Fantastic.
Really.
So when we were coming up to it,
Sure.
it's like that smell, like the rich spices, kind of like
Yeah, you
wafting up
could
the
smell
road.
it down the
was like-
street a bit, couldn't you?
I was like, okay, this is good. We were a few minutes early. Had to wait a few minutes to get seated. It was like packed.
Packed. Yeah, absolutely full. Which is again another good sign, isn't it?
For what, Wednesday?
Wednesday, yeah. And all the people pouring out, but the 2 or 3 people pouring out, I overheard them saying how good it was. So I was like, yeah, we're in for a real treat.
Good start. A few people waiting outside for takeaways as well.
Yeah.
And then when we went in, when we were seated,
Yeah.
just like walking through, it just smelled brilliant. So much more like vivid and vibrant than obviously standing outside. And we were seated across from the kitchen, which was quite interesting. Hudson was facing the kitchen, I had my back to it, which I thought potentially could be distracting. But we saw another table that was free that was like right by the door.
Right by the door.
And I was like, we didn't need that again.
We were both like, no, please. Yeah. So as Theo said, I was looking to the kitchen, to the pass of the kitchen, which was awesome. Just, they were cooking those curries on order, man, and dishing them up and washing the pan, making another. Like, they were cooking them to order.
Busy kitchen.
And busy.
But
and
not distracting.
So my worry was you. So it was on the pass where the drinks are served. There's a lot of staff.
Yeah, a lot of service.
Service passing. So I thought, I hope, like, it's not too distracting for you, because for me it was fine. Looking at the kitchen was a nice little treat, in fact.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you didn't find it distracting, then yeah.
No, not at all. I forgot. I didn't really look at the kitchen much, because I didn't crane my neck to
Yeah.
But
I was looking at the kitchen loads. Absolutely fascinating. Whenever you can see into the kitchen, it's always a nice little treat, I think.
And that's like nothing to hide. It's all just goodness going on here.
Yeah. Super quiet, super...
I wouldn't say quiet, it's just like not distractingly loud.
Sorry, in the kitchen.
Oh.
Sorry, like
Yeah.
in the kitchen. They knew what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
Bish bash bosh.
Yeah, exactly. And my God, did they know what they were fucking doing?
So maybe to start, just kind of get it out of the way. One of the few things I wasn't blown away by was the aesthetic of the restaurant.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Okay,
What did you think? It was nice.
It was fine. You know what? I didn't pay much mind to it because I should have clocked it. I didn't really. I was distracted by how busy it was in a positive way, and sitting right next to the kitchen. So yeah, I didn't really soak in.
That's the thing, there wasn't really much to soak in.
Yeah.
Not much to distract from the kitchen for you, and just the fucking brilliant food.
You and I were sort of separated from the restaurant on the table we were in.
It was a tiny little alcove. It was like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. I'm not a builder, but you know when the wall like bumps in a little bit.
Yeah.
And we were on the other side of the bump.
But in hindsight, I'm glad we sat there. And just off the bat, the service was great. Let's kick it off.
Yeah, what did we start with?
We started with poppadoms
Of course.
and dips.
So 3 dips on the plate. So there's like ever so slightly spicy like mango chutney.
Best
which was-
mango chutney I've ever had.
Hands down.
Seriously, it was fantastic.
Just enough spice, not overpowering at all, just like really well balanced. The classic kind of like pickle mix.
Yeah,
Which is really good.
My least favourite though.
Oh yeah, but it's always the least favourite
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
poppadoms.
It was the best made one I've ever had, but just one bit of that with the poppadom was enough. I've
Yeah,
had
yeah.
it, I've tried it, it was fine.
But I'll let you describe the third one.
The third one was the best dip, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah.
So it was like a puree, and we were both lapping it up on the poppadoms, and we were both sort of trying to...
Like, ascertain what it was.
And we got as far as coriander and mint.
You nailed that.
Okay, yeah.
I was like, this is really good.
So we got as far as coriander and mint, and that was good enough. It was amazing. And we asked our waiter what it was, and it was a puree of coriander, mint, white onion,
Ginger,
ginger. Fuck, I forgot about the
some
ginger.
green chilli.
Oh, was there chilli in there?
There was a touch of green chilli. It's the thing because it was like it had a bit of. I was trying to figure out if it was that was spicy at the poppadom, and yogurt,
Yogurt, yeah. Really, really good.
freshly made every
Yeah.
day.
I knew we were in for a treat as well. Just the balance of spices in the poppadoms and dips alone
It's like wow,
was
Yeah.
amazing.
And it was just that green puree. Didn't even ask what it was called actually, foolishly.
No,
But that was just like so refreshing.
yeah.
I know exactly why they don't have that in more curry houses, because they could never pull it off.
No, it was a refreshing take on dips, for sure. So the poppadoms weren't your standard circular, big, crisp poppadoms. They were all folded up, and each of them had a nook and cranny.
Yeah.
Nice for like smearing and scraping, and didn't fall apart in your hand when you were putting a dip on.
Slightly spiced. There was like
Yeah.
some, like I don't know if it was cumin seeds or something in there, but like a little kind of herby kind of bite to them.
So if you just went to your bog standard curry house, it's what they would call a spiced poppadom.
Sure.
And
So
just
that kicked off the meal well. A couple of cobras.
Yeah.
Some
I think
poppadom
we
roasted,
knew
some-
we were in for a treat, didn't we? And then Theo and I chose one starter each, which was, what did you go for?
I chose the fish and pink prawn amritsari.
Yeah.
I like to apologise for the pronunciation that's to come.
There's going to be a lot of that,
Yeah, which had a really nice kind of yogurt and mint dip or something.
Yogurt and mint. And I went for the chicken lollipops, simply named. What's the little synopsis on them?
Chili, garlic and tomato chutney
Yeah.
is what it was served with. But they're kind of like little deep fried. I don't know what part of the chicken. It's like it wasn't a drumstick. Oh, what was it? But it was like the bone was the stick, and then it was like a little
Yeah.
ball of chicken. But it was like attached with like cartilage and the tenders and stuff.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I
don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Unless it was the drumstick, but
Bit
like
of
the,
chicken it was.
the shite bit cut away.
Yeah, maybe. It could have been that for sure. And again, just in for round 2 of just...
Yeah, so like the fish and the prawns were battered in this like amazing. I think there was some cardamom in there. That was definitely like
Yeah.
a flavour and like a bit of spice. And it was like my mouth by this point was already hotting up.
Yeah.
Particularly that chutney. That chutney was fucking insane. Chili, garlic and tomato chutney.
With the chicken lollipops.
Chicken. But yeah. It was getting hot.
But really pleasant.
Oh yeah. Not overpowering, not like spicy. It
Yeah.
was just like you could just go back for more.
Fantastically.
And we kept going back for more.
Getting starters is always going to be like, you're going to be full up. This is going to be a big meal. So we've had 4 big meals in a row. And both I've had a tin of soup for lunch today. And both of us on the way were like...
I'm just not hungry.
Not hungry, this
Like,
and that.
Excited for the meal.
Yeah.
Particularly because it is like pretty well reviewed. But by that point, I'm hungry now. I'm
Yeah.
ready for the main. Like,
Exactly,
It's
so-
set up swell.
Exactly. I think out of those 2 starters, for me, that fish, the prawn and fish starter...
Dude. It's unreal.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. And the prawns were perfectly cooked. I've had so many prawns in so many places that are just cooked as shit and not very good. But those were absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
Really,
Melts in your
really
mouth.
well cooked. Every protein in that meal was completely melted in mouth. Really well done. So yeah, after the starters, I was hyped. I was excited. I was hungry.
Got the motor going. We were ready for some mains, and I think it was a tricky choice with the mains.
It was. So I think from what I gauge from the menu, with the mains, you have lots of choice. Lots of little side dishes, lots of, like, there were biryanis that I didn't really look at. So you have choice. What I would say with the curries is they do a handful just exceptionally well.
Yeah, well, certainly from the small sample that we've had.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a hugely extensive selection, but as you say,
Because sometimes you go to a curry house and it's like flicking through the Oxford Dictionary. It's
Yeah.
just page after page of different curries, but all in the same sauce. So all completely different. Service, we had one waiter.
top guy,
Yeah.
knowledgeable, friendly, easygoing, up for a laugh.
And just completely straight down the line.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Completely honest. So if he just left us to our own devices, I think we would have over-ordered on the mains.
Because he suggested it's like one rice is probably enough for you boys. I don't know how, like, if you're like starving, but one rice was enough.
So we were going through the main dishes. Well, I was, for quite a while, deciding what I wanted.
Yeah, we were umming and ahhing. And then you asked about the main dish that I wanted.
Yeah, because I was so interested.
And you basically said, "Oh, I want a chicken curry," and he was like, "Oh, the chicken chetinad," just straight
Which
up.
is the one I was eyeing up.
You
So
are
yeah,
up and
yeah.
talking about it, and he was just like that one, and you're like, "Boom, done."
Yeah, exactly. I got a roti for the first time, which was cool. I think a naan bread would have been too heavy, so the roti was perfect. It's like a naan, but flat. So like an Indian take on a pita bread is how I would...
Yeah, thin naan.
A thin, yeah, like a thin
like
naan.
no garlic and messing around.
Yeah,
I think.
just a nice bit of bread. Again, I could see into the kitchen. I saw one of the chefs slapping up rotis. It was all fucking fresh to order. One steamed rice between us. And we got, oh, holy crap, I forgot about the potatoes.
Oh, the mustard potatoes.
Which,
Yeah.
so Theo chose,
Wild mustard potatoes.
yeah.
That's like a little side dish.
What a choice as well.
They were really good.
They were
man.
really good,
Oh,
yeah.
it's just spot on.
Really good. On the menu, it sounds quite intimidating. For me, like, mustard potatoes, it sounds like it's going to be very pungent with mustard, but it wasn't.
I think we'd learn. By the time those came out, we were like, they know what they're doing with the spices. Trust these guys in the spice kitchen.
Yeah, that was my order, our order. But for your main dish, there was a lot of conversation, wasn't there?
Yeah, and a lot of nerves. I must say, I was like nervous.
It's an intimidating name straight off the bat.
Let's just drop it then. Pork cheek vindaloo.
Yeah,
My first ever vindaloo as well.
so intimidating.
Yeah, so it was a bit actually. Just go back to Johan a bit. He was like, the chetinad is like with green chilies, and it's a lot more kind of spice on the nose up front.
Yes.
Here's your
Yeah.
heat.
Yeah.
Boom. Whereas the vindaloo is what do you say, like a whole spice curry?
Yes.
So it's like whole peppercorns and whole cloves and whole cardamom that kind of builds up. So it starts off all right and then just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. And this guy knew his shit, knew what he
He
was talking about.
really did, yeah.
And just sold it. And I was like, yeah, that sounds amazing.
So what I was when I get a curry, I like punchy spice, and that's exactly what I got. Thank you very much. But just best spiced curry I've ever eaten as well. And yours just sounded so interesting.
Yeah, and it really did build up. Because I was driving, I moved on to the non-alcoholic beverages, and I had mine with a mango lassi, which is like a buttermilk mango milkshake type thing, to try and explain it.
Yeah,
Quite sweet.
Yeah.
And again, it's like he came out and was like, "Oh, sorry, man, your lassi's going to be like another couple of minutes." Like another freshly made item, you know.
Yeah. Is that the first time you ever had a lassi?
No.
Oh, you've had, okay. I've never had a lassi before, but I'll definitely get one again. Yeah, really. Everything was just so good. What can I say?
It just was.
Everything was so good. And the smell of the lassi, I was like, okay, because you said, oh, I think it's with buttermilk. So I smelt it, smelt the buttermilk, and I was like, okay. Tasted it, fucking hell, it was so good.
Sweet mango-y, like creaminess. It's just thick as well, man.
So how did your vindaloo initially hit?
So it had a bit of, like, we were warmed up with the spices already, and it had like a bit of heat to it. Like, there was definitely some. I mean, it was garnished with a red chilli, so I think that was like a component of it. It's a really nice kind of pepper was the main thing that was coming through. A hint of cardamom in a really nice way, and the pork was just deliciously tender. Again, like just fall apart.
I'm not sure I've ever had pork cheeks,
I don't think I have either.
and what a cut. obviously cooked very well, but what a cut.
Yeah.
Beautiful bits of pork. So you mentioned the black pepper and cardamom. When my initial taste of the vindaloo, I was getting a lot of clove.
Oh, yeah.
Clove
Yeah.
was the one that I was getting a lot of.
Yeah. You say great autumnal kind of.
I think that's why I said it.
Yeah.
I think just the initial hit was clove, and to me, yeah, it just tasted very autumnal.
And it really did build up.
So the waiter was not lying.
No, and I honestly think I got some kind of spice high. I was lightheaded. My vision, like I felt like a bit cross-eyed. My vision was just like a little bit just hazy. I was just like, fucking hell.
But so it
But
was.
I couldn't stop eating it. I literally couldn't stop,
so
man. I was just like,
when Theo said spice high, this is after, we finished both our curries. We were full of shit. No, sorry, we're full of shit right now. Fucking hell. We were full as shit. But, we were at that point in the curry where you just keep dipping away with a scoop of sauce with this, a bit of rice and this. And I was looking over at Theo, and he was not like, oh my God, give me a glass of milk, but just glazed over. just like a single layer.
just like a micron of sweat.
Yeah, but I don't want to say sweat, but
No.
you were like condensed. It was like just a perfect single layer of sweat, and you were just saying how it just did build up. So when you were at that point of that layer of sweat that was visible,
Yeah.
you were glistening. Was it uncomfortable?
No, not at all.
In any way? Yeah.
No. It's not like my mouth's on fire, as you say. I was like, I was quite glad I had the lassi with it.
Sure, yeah.
I think with a lager, it would have. Again, I don't think it would have been too much, but the lassi was just like a nice control mechanism, just so I think to stop me from getting too high, rather than from getting too uncomfortable.
Have you ever felt this
No.
spice high before?
So for those who don't know, I lived in China for a couple of years, and particularly the region that I was in, Sichuan, love their spice. Everything is spicy as you like, and Chinese people love to. The regular restaurants I go to out there, you could tell they were building up the spice each time they saw me.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I could they'd build me up to a Chinese level of spice.
Yeah. So initially they were like silly foreigner,
Yeah, silly foreigner. I'm like,
shake like a sprinkle of cayenne, and they're like test you on that. Yeah,
but that was like water.
Yeah.
That was like blow your head off spice.
So that was like shit. Give me a fucking glass of milk or something.
I need to down a gallon of milk. This is just an amazing flavour sensation.
The build is so interesting to me. I love that the build, and the waiter was so right about it as well. I think I want that Portuguese vindaloo. I want to experience that.
Yeah, I think you need it
build.
as a dish.
Yeah,
that's just comes out, and it's always amazing flavours. And you saw me, man. I couldn't stop eating it.
Yeah.
Just mouthful after mouthful, and just scooping it up with a bit of your roti, and just oh, do you mind if I? Because I probably had more rice than you. Just I was like,
you did.
Just something I don't want to just sit here and just eat this by the spoon like a nutter. But I licked my spoon clean, the serving spoon it came in. I was like, more.
And that dish sounds amazing. From my bit of pork cheek, it was just phenomenal. And not to play mine down as well, because it was chicken thigh, so they're going to be tender as shit. And the sauce was just exactly what I wanted. It really was. And that punchiness of spice without being overwhelming.
Yeah, and just everything was so just well balanced,
I've never had such well balanced spice before, and that is how it's done, I think.
Fucking
super surprised by the vindaloo, man.
Yeah, same.
Because of the name, again.
Yeah.
But you imagine I've had a bit of naan of vindaloo off of a friend's thing, and it's been blow your mouth wide open. Just not that.
No, not at all.
Damn, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, for sure.
So by the time we had our mains and starters, we were full. We were full as fuck.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because the quality of the food and cooking that we had, I would have loved to have had a pudding. And sitting here now,
and it wasn't the standard pudding
shitty
shite you get in a curry house. They only had 4 sweet looking things, and they were all. I'm not even going to try and butcher these pronunciations.
No.
If you're that interested, go from the website. Which the menu.
Yeah.
But they're 4 authentic looking things.
Yeah,
They had the pudding, and one of them was a pistachio thing. One of them was a sweet berry thing or something.
The pistachio thing was the one I wanted. I was half tempted to sort of be like, can I get it as a takeaway? Then I thought, was I actually going to eat it? But sitting here now, I would have eaten it. Just at the time. But for me, that was the only actual real shame of the meal, that I was too full to want a pudding.
If we'd been a bit earlier, we could chill out. And so if we were both drinking, we could have had like a beer or two between, so like digest a bit.
Yeah. I knew it was, because I told you, they called to reconfirm my table.
Yeah.
Not yesterday, on Monday. So they're not pissing around.
No.
And I thought, okay, we're in for a treat here. If they're calling to reconfirm the table at a curry house,
that's a good sign, isn't it?
That's a really good sign. And so I came with high expectations. I think you did as well.
Oh yeah.
I didn't fathom it would be quite this good. So yeah, we skipped pudding and went in straight for the coffees.
Yeah.
Of course, you were driving, so you just had a standard coffee. I went for the Irish coffee. Tradition dictates. It was good. I think my coffee was better than yours.
Yeah, mine was fine.
It's just a bit shitty.
Yeah, it was like filter coffee or like a pot coffee or something. It was just like, meh.
Yeah.
Again, but I was in it for just like the caffeine. I was like, I need to get over this high. I need to straighten myself out because I was like full, a bit tired, you know. Because last night was our latest recording. We didn't finish till midnight.
Damn. Yeah.
So yeah, I was a bit tired anyway. Long day at work, 9-hour shift, you know. So.
Get a bit of coffee down, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This chili high, I want to experience this chili high. Because you can get... I'm just imagining Homer Simpson, where he coats his mouth in wax.
Oh, and so he starts his chili at the chili fair.
He starts his chili and goes on like a trip. So, sorry, you did say,
not
but
far off.
Reiterate for me, what did you feel? Like, just a bit high?
Yeah, just kind of light-headed, a bit like glazed over in the eyes.
Glazed
I just like
a
a kind of like euphoria-ish coming on, like very, very light kind of build up of just like, oh, it's about the best way. So, price.
The price was actually less than I was expecting. I had quite a few beers. 3 or 4? 3?
2 Cobras and a Kingfisher or something? I had a beer.
2 Cobras. Maybe 3 Cobras.
Okay, yeah.
Let's say I had 4 beers for the sake of argument.
Yeah. And an Irish coffee, I had a beer, coffee and a lassie. Well, the lassie was only a couple of quid.
What did you think of the price?
So what was it? 90 quid?
95.
Without a tip? It was 92.55. So, oh no, 93.50.
Was it 93.50?
Yeah.
Without a tip.
It was good, and like again, we're going to these places to kind of go all out and experience them.
Exactly. It's always going to be booze, starter, main, pudding. It's always going to be a big fucking meal.
Our curries were like £12 or £13 each.
Mm.
The rice was like £3 or £4. Mm-hmm. The starters were £6 each. Something. My little side dish was £4. The mustard potatoes.
Yeah.
So like each individual item, very reasonably priced.
Yeah. I think I'm always surprised because we just tot it up. And I'm sitting there with my Irish coffee, like, how the hell did we spend this much? Yeah.
I mean, that's like a decent tip as well. 15 quid or something.
Well, 15 quid tip. Well deserved.
Oh, dude, yeah. That's the thing.
Very well
I
deserved.
was happy to like give that a generous tip. So what's that work out at? Well, more
15%.
More than 15%.
More than
yeah,
15%.
just straight over.
Happy to pay though.
Oh, dude, yeah. That waiter. Again, I just want to sing his praises because he
I
knew
think-
he was talking about, as I said, good manner and a bit of a laugh.
Really.
And those chefs, man, they were just...
Yeah. And what I quite liked, it was awesome to see actually, again, seeing into the kitchen. They cleaned up after service, because obviously restaurants have to close at 10 now. So they cleaned down after service. And the 2 owners, I think, just cracked a bottle of wine. And they were doing...
Another successful Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. It looked like they were sort of doing the books a little bit, so going through...
Yeah.
Like what's going on sort of thing. Just having a glass of wine, just that's what you want to see
Yeah.
after a successful service.
And just one more thing about that waiter. We were having a discussion at the end of the meal, actually. And
Was I in the loo?
Maybe.
I think I might
It
have
was
been.
just like, he set us up so well for the dishes, and just having a bit of that knowledge beforehand, like telling us like, oh, these are the things that you're going to expect, and you've got like the on the nose heat, I've got like a build up, just kind of gave me, I'd say gave us, but certainly me, like a more of an appreciation than I would have had going in blind.
Yes, I think that is.
But I was just like, give me the Vindaloo. I'd have still loved it. It'd been amazing, but not like, just knowing a bit more of like what's going on in there certainly like helped with the appreciation of the meal.
I think that's very fair. You articulated that extremely well. Well done.
I'm basically parroting what he said. So,
Scores on the doors.
yeah, this is what I really...
Scores on the doors. I have an idea of what I'm... Are you still sort of debating? I have an idea. I've got
an idea.
I've got a figure in my head. Shall I go first? Do you want to go first?
Let you go first.
So, it was far and away the best curry I've ever had. Without a shadow of a doubt. I would go back there again.
Well, I said in the car earlier, it's like
Yeah.
you'd go there for your birthday or like an anniversary, like a special occasion.
Go for a treat, yeah.
What a treat.
I'll definitely be going again. I will recommend it to people, and everything was so good. So, I'm going to give it... All the dishes were perfect.
You're debating. See, maybe I'll go in. I'll go in strong.
Go in.
9.35.
Oh, that's strong. Ooh, I like it. Just
one of the most memorable meals I've ever had.
Okay, alright. I was looking at around... No, let's not do that. 820 is my score.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, that's my score. No, before I regret it tomorrow.
Yeah, because now this is your final score.
Yeah.
You've got to decide while that little red light is on.
875. What brought it up for me was every dish was perfect, and the service from that gentleman was perfect. Mm-hmm. So I just have to push it up. 875 is my final score.
Brilliant price. So we're saying the restaurant's got Michelin Bib, which is like small independent restaurants with good prices and great food.
Yeah.
It's a kind of the award.
Yeah.
I think it deserves a star.
Interesting you should say that.
I don't know if that would like push the prices up and that would be like less of a kind of friendly local thing, and maybe they don't want the bloody star because they're obviously killing it as is.
So the two guys that opened Dastaan came from Gymkhana in Mayfair, which is a very highly acclaimed Indian restaurant. It has a Michelin star, and they used to work there, and they came and opened this restaurant. So they're no strangers to dishing up
high cuisine,
that quality of cuisine. I think we need to go to Gymkhana and see what a Michelin star is compared to that, you know.
Okay, yeah. I'm keen. So I know it's such a different experience, and it might be a difficult question to answer. It might not be a very fair question to ask in the first place. How would you compare it to sorrel? Because I think, again, I don't remember what I put to all those.
I don't remember what I scored for sorrel either. How would I compare it? That's so tricky.
That's what I mean. It's not a very fair question because it's so hard to compare the two.
It's very hard to compare the two.
But again, we were just saying, like, fantastic food, brilliant service, great waiting staff.
How would I compare it? I think sorrel has that edge on... not even atmosphere, because when you go for a curry, you don't want that sort of...
No, exactly. No, that's a tricky question, man. That's a ball breaker.
It is a ball breaker, and can you compare them?
See, I'm not sure you can.
No, I don't think you can.
It's just because it's such different types of cuisine. Like the dining experience stuff is where you could compare, but because the food is just so different, I'm not sure it's a fair question. That's what the rating system's for. We'll find out when I get to that bit in episode 1.
Yeah.